Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. After a little bit of time with our companions yesterday, we have finally kind of queued up everything we need to do to get ourselves up to the final areas. We have to make our way up to Dargonus for Jay's side quest, a very, very funny side quest that I'm looking forward to a lot. And then we have a couple of side quests here. Very, very quick ones, which I'm not actually even sure we can do, but we're going to go pop our nose in and see if we can beat those Drukhari fleets. And then we'll head on over to Vabos 6, which is like the final quest of the act, or at least the final quest of this section before things start moving. Let's get cooking. We've managed to make all of our warp paths here safe, so we can get around our galaxy without any trouble. Super, super nice having these clean warp paths. I gotta tell you, not having to worry about any of that is clutch. And I am pretty sure all of our colony projects right now are just waiting on reputation. Janus might have a few things. We've picked up a cure for the sloth, giving all colonies +1 efficiency. We're basically drugging the entire population now, giving them chemicals. This one is waiting on Casabelica. This one is waiting on Casabelica. Then those ones are waiting on those other parts. Chiavagama is waiting on explorators. Dargonus has drugs for me. Thank you, Dargonus. And you're also waiting on either Casabelica or Fellowship of the Void. You're probably Casabelica. So we sit, we wait. We pop on down to the old Administratum. So what we're doing here is that Jay has asked for basically the Rogue Trader's blessing to become a... I think she wants to become like a baroness. And the idea is that
powers unseen
we have to help her out, give her a Rogue Trader's blessing, and like form a bit of an alliance between the Rogue Trader and the Casabelica and the Cold Traders, the smugglers. So, Cold Trader license, exactly, right? Lord Skyrim, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. Doing the J task, yeah. Any chance I'll stream the Odyssey DLC for RimWorld? It looks awesome. Potentially. I don't know how much time we have for it. RimWorld is such a like time-intensive game. We might take like a little peek at it, but it's not immediately on the schedule. At least not for launch. RimWorld tends to do very, very badly on the channel, so I'm always in a bit of a flux about it. We get some goodies. We got loads of paperwork. Some more goodies. Chronicle of Case, big numbers. This parchment looks greasy, marked, and old, as though it's passed through many, many pairs of hands. Servants of the Imperium, Elias Tantatel, filed a declaration with the Adeptus Administratum that he is the sole heir of the house and the legal sovereign of the northern continent of the planet Ergona Rex. According to the submission, he cannot exercise the rights of his inheritance as the wider family tree includes an individual who shares his full legal name. According to the petitioner, this individual is his great-great-grandfather. Given the loss of documents confirming the death of the second claimant to the inheritance, Elias Tantanel is petitioning the confirmation that his relative's death and permission for the enactment of his inheritance right. Petition received preliminary review period up to 15 Tyrian years. Forwarded to review 23 Tyrian years, 4 cycles from date of submission. Request for a copy of the death certificate of Elias Tantanel sent to the Department of Miditorum, 28 Tyrian years, 2 cycles from date of submission. Request rejected, 39 Tyrian years, 11 cycles from date of submission. Second request sent to the archive, 44 Tyrian years, 4 cycles. Request approved, 52 Tyrian years from date of submission. After 48 repeated petitions from Elias Tantarel, the third request was sent to the archive, 79 Tyrian years, 7 cycles from date of submission. Copy of death certificate of Elias Tantanel, great-grandfather to the petitioner, received, 84 Tyrian years, 6 cycles from date of submission. Documents forwarded for formulation of decision granting permission for the enactment of the inheritance rights of Elias Tantanel, sole heir of the house and legal sovereign of the northern continent of the planet Ergona Rex, 101 Tyrian years from date of submission. Death of Elias Tantanel recorded by servants of the Adeptus Administratum. Place of death, Q16. Waiting hall, Palace of the Adeptus Administratum, Dargonus, 106 Tyrian years from date of submission. Death certificate sent to the archives, 114 Tyrian years from date of submission. Petition for the enactment of inheritance rights following the death of Elias Tantanel and for the issuance of a copy of the death certificate received from the deceased's daughter, Eliza Tantanel. 114 Tyrian years, 11 cycles from date of submission. Bureaucracy. Waiting so long for a death certificate, he dies himself in the process. You gotta love it. Ain't that just peak Warhammer? In the last 3,000 Tyrian years, entries mentioning this planet include this other one. A full list confirmed by the Adeptus Terra of all planetary objects located within the territory of the Von Valancius dynasty, received 164 years ago. Found that this planetary object has not been included in the collection of imperial tithes for the last 3,000-ish Tyrian years. In the same period, the planetary object was included in the taxable sites but did not pay its tithe, thereby failing to uphold its sacred obligation to the Imperium. Subsequent analysis of archived documentation revealed the absence of documentation confirming the existence of the planetary object. Oh man, this is so painful to read. Based on the internal investigation, Adeptus Administratum declares that any mention of this object must be replaced with this other object. The governor of this object must pay the tithe for the 3,000 years within 50 years, and the event of non-payment, the planet will be seized for the Administratum, and 95% of the population will be immediately subjected to servitude in perpetuitas for the benefit of the Imperium. Basically, all the planet population becomes servitors. Note, a precise reckoning of the tithe amount required in throne gelts is appended to this report. Note, an advisory letter has been sent to the Ministerium recommending the department conduct its own internal inventory investigation to determine whether this object had fulfilled its sacred obligation to provide recruits for the Astra Militarum. Oh my god, the Imperium sucks, dude.
Seize the opportunity.
Such a mess. We are doing Jay's task, yeah. Haven't even got to Kabagami yet and basically done this task. Just need to go back to Dargonis. Nice. 4 level ups you've ignored. That happens to me sometimes. I just sit on them for a bit. You don't always need them right away. Do I consider the DLCs worth it, Libby? Absolutely. Yeah, they integrate really, really well with the base game. Void Shadows is really interesting because it fleshes out a lot of the ship, which you don't really get to experience quite as much in the base game. Solomorn stuff, I mean, it just adds, like, you know, it adds puppy dogs, so it's kind of worth it for that alone. All of the builds with the Overseers are really fun. I'm not sure how much... I mean, the story was good from what we played. I don't think we're done all the Lex Imperialis stuff yet, but all the missions were like a lot of fun, so I would say they're worth it. Yeah. An ancient-looking woman in a voluminous robe peers at you critically through her ocular lens when you descend into the bowels of her bureaucratic domain. Another noble bypassing the queue just to the pretext of just wanted to ask. All you highborn ever want is just to ask. But what about protocol? That's what I'm asking. Who's going to follow protocol? Darius, thank you for 7 months, my dude.
I am so late with my Rizza. I haven't been able to hang out on Twitch in a hot minute.
That's all good,
but
my dude.
wanted to stop in and make sure I threw the old Bezos bucks at you. And encourage anyone not subbing to Agent to please do so.
It's good advice.
He's an awesome content creator.
And an even better individual. So if you can afford to, please don't hesitate to support. Love you all. Dudes, thank you so much. I muchly appreciate it. Thank you for the 7 months. And welcome. And no worries if you haven't been able to hang out. You know, you're always welcome back. Life gets busy. Life gets slow. It's summertime. I know there's a lot of people out there touching grass, so... Jay glances at us and whispers, "What? So I paid off a few clerks to let us skip the queue, Shireen? Your time is more important to me than any little formalities." "Very well, don't just stand there. You're here now. Or do you think the Master of Seals has nothing better to do than receive unexpected visitors?" She beckons over a servo skull. "Begin entry, current hour, current turn, current cycle, 41st millennium." Metal manipulators immediately begin, fervoriously clanking, taking dictation. Prefect, Master of Seals, is that not too many titles for one official? "It is proportionate to my duty, your lordship. While I am involved with the Administratum's archiving cogitators, I proudly bear the title of Master of Seals. In all other circumstances, I am a mere prefect. This distinction allows me to organize my work in due fashion, and as you surely understand, clarity and order are critical components of the sacred act of maintaining and managing records." I'm not going to ask her about any of these things. She's a business. She's got things to do. "My companion wishes to obtain a Mercatum Tabula Officiale." The Master of Seal peers over her ocular lens at Jay in disbelief and then looks at you. I take it you are her sponsor. In that case, you must submit a written application in conformity with template 404.01, as well as written permission for the processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Without it, I cannot issue Mistress Haydari. Mistress Haydari, the form for collecting the seals required to obtain the Mercatum Tabula Official, the certificate of an official trade representative. At these words, the saccharine smile drops from Jay's face. Seals? What seals? We will discuss that when Biggest Turg von Valancius has prepared the primary documentation. Abelard lets out a stoic sigh and rolls his eyes. You get the feeling that this is not his first personal interaction with the Administratum bureaucracy, nor is it his second. Cabela surveys the room and slowly removes her hand from the handle of her weapon. There is only one thing that can kill you here, Doman Biggest Turg, and that is old age. Is there no way of getting around these formalities? Fear the wrath of the Immortal One, your lordship. What would become of your protectorate or even the Imperium yourself if every person did what you're proposing? No, Lex Imperialis Volume 249, Paragraph 18-2, Amendment of the 12th year of the previous millennium clearly states, actions that are circumvent the sacred law of the Imperium in pursuit of personal gain are manifestation of human weakness, which is subject to eradication. I don't know, can you do it? She mutters something waspishly under her breath, ignoring your question entirely. And if I refuse? Then I'm afraid Mistress Haydari will never receive her certificate, and I am obliged to levy a fine against her noble name for wasting the valuable time in the Master of Seals. Shireen, I know the Azzi have thwarted our plans, and that unforeseen circumstances have arisen, like, well, never mind. So the esteemed Tamara wants us to fill in a couple of forms. I'll do that with great pleasure. There's no way I'm trusting Jay to do this. I'll complete the form myself. The perfectly sharpened... I mean, I also have a swarm of servo skulls. I feel like they should have an option to just do this paperwork. Scratches pleasantly on the parchip for her first few minutes. The phrasing, footnotes, amendments, you're forced to write out the same details over and over about you, the Protectorate, Theodore von Valancius, Jay, and then every living person who bears your family name. If you do not know all the required information, you must complete supplementary forms. An hour has passed. She nods in approval and stows the scroll into a tube labeled with your name. Next is the consent form for your processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Sigh forlornly. The animately draws her cognate quill across the surface of a data slate, paying no attention to you. Give her written consent on the presented form. Another hour passes. This is like every D&D campaign when you refuse to do what the DM has told you to do, and he's like, okay, great. You're gonna have to go to the city hall and fill out a bunch of paperwork if this is what you want to do. And we're gonna roleplay the whole goddamn thing. $20 for both season passes on CD keys. Not bad, not bad. And you got the super hire game. Cool. I'm curious to hear what you think about it. Can Bezos use the gift subs he pays for as a tax deduction? Probably. Who knows? There's some sort of like intercompany ledger that happens in regards to that. So Portier is always overlooked. Protocol executed, application received, processed, and approved. All right. What are you saying about seals? Here is your documentation, Mistress Haydari. Unfortunately, it does not yet have legal force. I can certify it as a sacred Mercatum Tabula official once it has received 2 seals of approval. They're easy to obtain. In the Imperium Court, Administratum servitors have been handling such a task for over 50 years. There's one servitor here on Dargonus, and the second is duty-bound to keep the seals in the Telecos Epsilon system. Why can the seals not be affixed here? According to the amendment implemented by Prefectus Estina of Dargonus, one of the seals must be kept in the palace of the ruler of the Von Valancius Protectorate, remaining a symbol of the unbreakable link between the Sacred Warrant and the Adeptum Administratum. The second seal is held in their accordance with this other decree. Unfortunately, after a fire 200 years ago, all that remains of the original decree is an amendum certified by an unknown adept with the initials AA. No instructions repealing this decree were ever received from Holy Terra, therefore the seal remains where it ought to be. Why am I obliged to handle such a task myself? Decree 424, Clause 79, Amendment 8 on the law of certifying a Mercadium Tabula official with sponsorship of a bearer of the warrant of trade. The sponsoring rogue trader must be present at the placing and certifying of each seal. If this requirement is not met, the document will be deemed invalid. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Please do return once you have the documents.
Embrace true power.
Must be my smuggler's instincts.
Damn bureaucracy. What's this loot? Elam, I know it hasn't been a full cycle since I was appointed, but please cover for me with the Master of Seals. I completely forgot about one extremely important seal. I'm going to run upstairs to do it. I don't think it'll take long. I'll be back within a couple of hours. The note is covered in a thick layer of dust, just like the table on which it lies. Oh man, my entire empire is going to fall apart in this process. Peak Administratum RP because it's a bureaucratic nightmare. Yes. I guess I also have to go to, yeah, the Von Valencia's palace here for one of the seals. Don't forget to get those forms notarized and in triplicate. Mac, good morning. Welcome. We're just filling out some paperwork this morning. It's a riveting stream, I assure you. Hey, there's loot here. How did I miss loot? I'm gonna waste my good multi-keys. Now, obviously, I'm like, what other loot is here? So it looked like it said Janus was the other system. Thankfully, at least we have like the clear line of sight, clear warp travel to get there.
I mean, you can use a melter as a cave.
That's true. It will, you know, have some problems with whatever's inside the chest, but temporary issue. Uh-oh. Mr. Saydari, my patience is not easily exhausted, but you are coming very close. I shall repeat myself. I will not be issuing you a seal. I can see the family resemblance with Abelard. You cannot see further than your own nose, my dear. It wasn't a bribe, it was a gift. About that seal, let the rogue trader decide. I'm here for the heresy. Can't spell heresy without being here. Your lordship, I apologize for this ugly scene, but might I ask you, rein in Mistress Haydari, put a stop to her inflammatory actions towards you? As the exalted one as me witness, Shireen, I've tried everything I could to spare you the unnecessary headache over the seals for the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. I even showed this aid with a temper worse than a sandstorm, the certificate with your signature, but the Chancellor merely kept batting me away with her flail of baseless denials. I suspect she has the reason that this has nothing to do with my humble personages. She purses her lip and glowers at Jay. Oh no, this isn't about me at all. I see. Well, Chancellor, will you tell us then, or should I help you? Mistress Rosarian, I require that the document... Wait. Whatever is the matter, Mistress Rosarian, I should probably figure out, make sure she's actually not trying to hoodwink me into doing something else here. When did Jay become Irish? She's her own kind of blend of weird Irish... I don't know, Irish Moroccan? It's the closest thing we have. When did she become Mrs. Doubtfire? I don't know. We can lose it if you really prefer. I'm afraid that my words may anger your lordship. She lowers her head in shame as if offering it to be removed from her shoulders. The seal you were looking for was lost over a quarter of a century ago. Your ladyship ordered a new one be delivered from the Imperium, but as we know, we're a long way away from Holy Terra. And with the warp storms ravaging the Koronus Expanse, we've been unable to receive a replacement. I have a seal with the Winterscale coat of arms. I presume the one responsible was punished promptly and harshly. Theodora ordered to have the malefactor dealt with accordingly. Servitude in perpetuitis, your lordship. He now performs his duties to the Imperium without reservation or error. However, one of the worlds under Winterscale's rule, like Dargonis, was granted the honor of keeping the sacred sigils. The archive of House Von Valencius mentioned 3 systems presently under control of House Winterscale: Forgotten Twins, Langren's Belt, and the Nameless Star. I'm confident that the palace is located on one of the planets there. We have a better chance of finding the seals in my own pocket of some rich collector or fence than on a remote world owned by one of your rivals, Shireen. I suggest we make contact with any traders we may encounter on our travels. People in my line of work tend to have a good eye for such things. There's every possibility that someone has waited their whole life to fleece or to return the great relic to its rightful owner. Could this be the seal in question? This is without a doubt the Administratum seal from Winterscale's realm, but why is it the original and not a copy? Well, the laws of the Imperium do not prohibit heirs of other houses from using the seal in times of need. I will order to have the servants of the machine cult create a duplicate to avoid such an embarrassing predicament in the future. Nice. I think this was on the planet that we fought all those turrets on. where we were getting like poisoned the entire time. I ought to have you flogged for withholding critical information. Unquestionably, your lordship. At day's end, I will submit myself to self-flagellation at the Werserian family chapel. 100 lashes, and if it won't be sufficient, I'll add 5 dozen more. The loss of a seal is certainly a great tragedy, but self-flagellation? Admit it, Chancellor, you simply enjoy wallowing in pain while praising the Emperor's name. What the Exalted One requires of his servants is pure faith, not hollow torment. What possible use could he have for our tears? Those are just the ravings of the ecclesiarchy, and you walk whatever road you're being herded along as blind as an obedient sheep. What use does he have for our tears? Man, he eats 10,000 psychers a day. I do not fear pain, for it offers redemption. It would benefit you to learn this lesson one day. I'm afraid I have to refuse. All right, well, you're dismissed. Problem solved, baby. That's one down. I've got to hope we already know where the other one is. Wait a minute. We're going the wrong way. We got to take the spaceship. Did we upgrade our servo skull? I know we got the upgrade, but I don't think I actually put it in here. Thinking about it. I'm all for the S-tier voice acting. Well, thank you so much. Ooh. I guess that got an upgrade. I guess. We're still trying to get this archaeotech mechanism. We haven't found the 4th piece of that. What are my other servo skull upgrades? 10 fellowship. Enemies adjacent must pass as bonus or become perplexed. Deflection is increased for 1 by each perplexed enemy. Nah, I like keeping it as cover. Yeah, I don't know, man. We added in these candles, and apparently that was enough for us. Need dialogue type writing 10 answer options for each 10 questions. For each document, you get the result at the end. Sorry, you made a mistake. You have to redo. You know, I've been playing a lot of Dude. And there's this really absurd section where at like the end of the first major quest line, you just get like a quiz that is about the history of the Fremen people and all the different planets that they've been to. And if you're like me, who's really bad at remembering anything, you just have to sit there and fail the quest like 50 different times as you try to guess and check. Like, oh, no, I got a wrong answer. Okay, on to question 2. Is it this one? No, wrong answer. Okay, there's the answer for question 1, the answer for question 2. Oh, I got it right. Question 3. Oh, no, I got the wrong answer. Okay, let's go back. Question 1, correct. Question 2, correct. Question 3. Oh, wrong again. Okay, back to the start. And it just like goes on and on and on for like 8 questions long. It's really bizarre. It is a strange choice that the game makes. Emperor is the Primarch of the greatest chapter of the Imperium and Terra. Why wouldn't we self-flagellate? I mean, any reason to whip yourself if it's what you're into, I guess. Shouldn't watch cooking content when I'm hungry? Man, that's the best time to watch cooking content. You get the most ideas. That quiz was about the trials you had done. Maybe pay more attention to the trials. I knew some of the answers, but like, I also wasn't really paying attention to the trials until I was on like trial number 3 or 4. So I missed some of them. Going shopping hungry. Now that's the thing you shouldn't do. Going shopping hungry is dangerous. Because then you end up buying a bunch of stuff that you don't need. That's how you come home with a ton of groceries, but you're like, I'm just going to eat this bag of chips and make a frozen pizza. Governor Wyatt's estate. You're at the office because then you're tempted to buy takeout. Yeah, okay. Okay. That's fair. I imagine it's this guy who has the Master of Seals. How are things going? With the enemies of humanity on our land, wonderful. The people of Janus are indebted to you for ridding our world of heresy. I sure did. Governor Bayat has everything well in hand. The people are still unsettled, but after your intervention, most of the rebels and malcontents have quieted down. I appreciate the local species. The flora of Janus can take your breath away. The fauna can inadvertently kill you. I require a seal. Of course, it would be an honor to assist. Interesting. I assumed we would be dealing with servitors, but no, some places in your domain still have the work being performed by people of flesh and blood. I beg your pardon, what is this about servitors? I have faithfully performed my sacred duties to the Imperium and the Administratum all my life. Guarding the seals is part of that. After half a century, not a single seal damaged. I keep them in a special case and I oil the handles every month as the rules stipulate. I'm merely repeating the words of the Master Seals on Dargonus. Servitors has replaced an entire category of lowly bureaucrats assigned to the Von Valencia's planets, around 10 years ago. But after 70 years of service and not a single directive, not from Holy Terror or from Dargonus, a complete breakdown in communication? What a farce! What an insult against all process! Scarlet patches blossom on the secretary's pale face. This is easily remedied. If the administrative requires such a servant, then I will immediately begin preparations for servitization. The will of the Lex Imperialis is supreme. Jay nervously licks her lips. She clearly did not expect this response to her remarks. Attilis, I don't think the Exalted One has any particular desire to see you lobotomized and turned into a mindless, clanking ghoul just because someone changed a law. I have a couple of iconoclast options in here, but... Janus needs an intelligent secretary, not a brainless machine. Simply acquire a servitor for yourself. After lots of prevarication, Attila's hunched figure sags. Of course, you're right. I'll continue to serve Janus and the Von Valencia's protectorate as before, and today I will dispatch a request for copies of edicts issued by the Imperium over the last 50 years. Who knows what else I've missed here on Janus? That's wonderful, Attilas, but just wonderful. Just don't go poking your eyes out with a long needle, at least until you receive a direct order from your precious Administratum. Here you are, and may the Emperor bless your path.
The world
One more problem solved. Watching this guy who collates a bunch of healthy recipes, been enjoying them a lot. Tomato and butter bean stew. Ooh. I feel like a butter bean does not sound that healthy, but I don't really know what a butter bean is. To me, that's like a turkey. Take part of the stew and put it in a blending cup. Add tofu, nooch, and miso paste. Fortify it to add protein. Blend and mix it back in. Dargonus requires our attention. We didn't go with a heretical option? There wasn't a heretical option there. There was 2 iconoclasts and a dogmatic. One was iconoclast, one was iconoclast follower. One was iconoclast follower, one was dogmatic, one was iconoclast with a persuasion check, and the other was just persuasion. No. It was just it was iconoclast if you're a follower of iconoclast, which we technically are. We managed to get level 2 for this, which is great because that means we also get this ability. So we get a bunch of movement points on the first turn. Once you hit level 3, you're locked in and you can't I don't think you can get points on the other tracks anymore. But so getting to Iconoclast 2 and then switching out was good. Honestly, I don't even know where we got those Iconoclast points from. Butterbean's a young lima bean that's a bit buttery. Got that buttery biscuit base? Just blind? That's okay, man. It happens to all of us. Can't blame you. In an effort to exploit the crisis in the Expanse, the prominent mining consortium are disrupting ore shipments to the colonies of the Protectorate. Secretly start an uprising. Gain profit factor, lose security. Make the consortium respect the agreements by force. That's probably lose 2 profit factor. Request that the Imperial Navy boycott the consortium's trade routes. Oh man, let's absolutely arm a bunch of miners and support an uprising. Unable to restore order, the consortium breaks apart. Most of the splinter enterprises enter into contracts with the rogue traders. Easy clap. No problem. Back on into bureaucracy. We got the seals. Post the recipe in the Discord, please. Please do. You could get points, but only go to level 2 after you had 3 in 1. I could be wrong. They could have changed it. I do remember, at least at launch, it was that you could only, once you hit 3, it locked you out of the other paths.
Cover my path.
All right, this job is done. Master of Seals. Here's your paperwork completed. Indeed, it is perfect. The seals are authentic. We may continue with the procedure. Follow me, please. Dum 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 dum. Grab a little screenshots of the old Administratum. I hate when they talk. Get those chat boxes out of the way. You're getting me all my thumbnail. This is all my thumbnails for YouTube. This place looks like hell. It's like the DMV on crack. Some nice shots, though. This is your queue, and the ticket number is 394. When it's your turn to be seen, the ranking prefect will review your documentation again and sign the official certificate of J. Hadare to possess a Marcatum Tabula Officiale. You'll have to wait a bit, but it'll be worth it in the end. Is this some kind of joke? Hardly. In accordance with this decree, citizens of the capital world of the Von Valencia's Protectorate must submit their petitions at one of the assigned windows of the waiting hall. The decree makes no mention of the rogue trader being exempt from this rule. I'm the rogue trader. I don't queue. Under the Lex Imperialis, your rights and privileges of rogue trader come into effect only after your official ascension ceremony. Until then, you're just another humble subject. You really want to get on my bad side. The old woman wrinkles her nose like she's tasted something unpleasant. I suppose I could make an exception, but only because Theodora von Valencius never once overlooked the laws of the Imperium or my advice. Here, she holds you a new ticket with number 301. May his blessing be upon you. What was I, 302? 394. Well, we moved up a little bit. we knocked 90 off. Oh my god. Take my place in the queue. What else we got going on here? Bundles of wires have been ripped out of the servitor's neck and yellow fluid is seeping from his joints. Hey, angry must a person be to have done this. The crowd hums and surges like the sea in foul weather. The smell of unwashed bodies, ancient parchment, and ink assaults your nose. For many petitioners, this is not their first cycle waiting to be seen. We got a guy here called Minas. We got some backpacks full of goods, full of drugs and keys. More petitioners, lots of petitioners around. Servitors, we got some goods over here. Current task list of current work turn. Compose an order for the servitization of 90% of the population of an asteroid mining station for the purposes of increasing productivity. Prepare a set of documents for reclassification of the world Vabo 6 as a penal colony. I thought it already was a penal colony. Task the newly appointed adepts of the Administratum with conducting a review of all unresolved positions in the last 6,000 cycles. Make a big mug of recap. I'd love a big mug of recap right about now. Dr. Sean, welcome back. You're a sweaty mess. This is after you were unloading at work. I mean, that's a long time to be unloading. I hope they have a bidet there, at least. For your sake. Make a mean chili. The secret is use different cuts of meat, like chopped sausage, stewing beef, and hamburger. That's a good way to make a chili. I do a vegetarian chili, and absolutely the secret is somewhat similar. It's like use black beans, use lentils, and use ground tofu. 3 different types of protein. It's also use red wine. That's the real secret to making chili. Let's take our place in the queue. It hums with thousands of voices. Someone has rolled out bedding and is settling down to sleep. Someone is playing bizarre musical instruments. Many are praying. Several highborn petitioners are debating who is here as the most important business. You have to admit the magnificent administrative machinery of the Imperium isn't without its rough edges. But what a thrilling adventure this is turning out to be, Shireen. I've never seen anything like it before, and sometimes it's good to take a break from the constant traveling, to give all the hot-blooded newcomers a chance to cover themselves in glory without us in the way. Order my servants to prepare a waiting area befitting a rogue trader. Let's absolutely do this. Gary, hello. How was your rogue trading today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Brinchaborn, Draxus, Flamethrower, Cancel, Lilium, Kiri, Cormacker. Good to see all your beautiful faces. Come on in, come on in. We are in the middle of bureaucracy right now. We are in the Administratum, the Adeptus Administratum, filling out paperwork. In probably one of the funniest quests, I think, in the game. It's very ridiculous. We're trying to get a certificate of basically making our companion Jay a merchant, and we're just filling out paperwork and currently waiting in a queue. Jay is alive. What heresy? Oh, we have so much heresy. We're actually chaos cultists in this playthrough. It's very fun. We have an altar to chaos that we pray to. We are very, very corrupt. The idea of our playthrough is that we are a noble heretic, all about a quest for power, all about serving the chaos gods, and we're picking basically every heretical option we can. So you love this quest? It's very, very funny. Hope you have fun. I got a raid and run. I've got a workshop to attend. Enjoy. We'll chat later. Have a good one. Imagine being the designer told to make this, make it as boring as possible while also fun. They've done a very good job so far. All right, so we've just sat down to queue. I'm going to order my servants to prepare a waiting area befitting a rogue trader. Because, you know, I'm a bougie noble. Oh, wow. They did a really good job. Look, they even brought in, like... Oh, I thought that was a bunch of wine, but I think it's scrolls. Dang, they did a great job here. We got, like, a nice office and everything. You feel the envious stares of other petitioners upon you, but no one dares to do anything more than stare. Let's yawn. The minutes drag by slowly. Somewhere in the queue, a child is howling at the top of his lungs. The palace adepts are sedately moving documents from one pile to another, shuffling papers. Several petitioners have gathered in a huddle and are swapping rumors while someone's laid down for a nap on a nearby bench. Scratch the back of my neck. You've whiled away 30 seconds of your wait. You wonder how much longer you have left to go. Let's count the people in the queue. The people are constantly moving, coming and going, changing places, or simply disappearing from view. On your first attempt, you count 238 petitioners. On your second attempt, you count 244. On the third attempt, your next batch of unlucky souls is ushered into the hall and you lose count. We were number 302? 301? I think, so. You murdered Jay 2 days ago? Man, that's the real heresy right there. Actually, after catching her eye, Jay purrs surreptitiously as she glances to Cabela. Shireen, if you were to tell your pet assassin to put on a little show in this room, I bet the queue would get a lot shorter. Ooh, because we took the DLC companion. To defile one of the blood-spun web sacraments by dedicating it to your avarice? Think again, blasphemer. Wait patiently. 8 hours have passed. Oh my god. In the last 8 hours, the only thing that's changed in the waiting hall is the warden shift. The petitioners in the queue placidly await the blessed hour when their appeal will be heard by the high-ranking servants of the Imperium. The entire queue perks up at a sudden announcement. Number 285, proceed to the available window. Throne, take me. What torturous trials have we let ourselves in for? Jay almost wails in despair. So much precious time lost, and we've only moved 3 places ahead. At this rate, we'll be old and grey before we get out of this queue, Shireen. Did you have a better idea? You wound me, Shireen. Jay Hadari always has a better idea. What would you say to making the good folk ahead of us hurry up a little? Just a smidge. Her eyes dart playfully over the faces of the people around you. The simplest way to make these lowly subjects bow down before the blinding radiance of our title, Shireen. The second option requires a little more patience. I've already found our first compassionate citizen who's standing 50 places ahead of us in the queue. Simply offer the right words to unlock his heart and he'll gladly swap tickets with you. And also, you have the power to solve the problems of some petitioners, removing their need to visit a coveted window. After all, is there anything an ordinary citizen would want that's beyond the power of conquering of the stars to grant? Solve the problems of the common people. Frighten the people. These worms should bow down in terror. Whatever you're thinking, do it. Open fire on the crowd. Let's frighten them before we go just like full on murder. I feel like murder is not necessarily our heretical option, you know? Sad time when Jay does not have her voice. I know, I try my best to do the voice actors, but I'm nowhere near as good as them. Shot her a few hours ago together with the pilot Xenos at that warp gate. These worms should bow in terror before their master. We like ruling through fear. That's a big thing for us. As you wish, your lordship. If it doesn't work, we'll open fire, you know? When else would you open fire if not as a heretic? As a dogmatic? I don't know. Attention all, before you is his lordship, the biggest Turg von Valancius, rogue traitor and anointed sovereign of the world. Bow your unworthy heads and give your master his rightful place in the queue. Coercion tests succeeded. Blessed be his lordship, the rogue traitor, and the entire von Valancius line. Of course, we lowly subjects will bow our head in reverence before our great sovereign, and will serve his lordship however he requires, for we find our purpose only through service to him. Like, why waste the bullets, right? I can open fire on the plebs. Yeah. I see only some of them left, so. All right. Why go to effort when I can simply shoot everyone here? Pull out my sword. Not my melt-a-gun?
I tread a path unexplored.
Problem solved. The only problem with this is there are really fun events that you get if you solve the problems of the common people. And you know what? They're probably more heretical events too. No way does a dogmatic open fire in an administrative building to skip the line. You wait your turn like a proper loyal servant. I mean, they're probably heretics in the line, so. All right. More bureaucracy notes. Are we any further ahead? It doesn't really feel like it. Though a lot of people have left. Some really funny outcomes you can pick for the people. All right. Let's save. I feel like there's definitely more heretical options than just shooting on the crowd. Shooting on the crowd just seems like the option to skip the event. Because just because we're heretics don't mean we're you know, unnecessary cold-blooded killers. So let's get our fancy room. Which takes about an hour. Let's yawn, scratch the back of our neck, count. Wait patiently. Pass for 8 hours. Ask if she's got a better idea. Frighten the people, because that is correct for me. And then we'll solve the problems of the common man. A wise decision, Shireen. Cold traders always say if you can solve a problem with hard cash, it's the cost of doing business. Can't turn the common masses to heresy if they're dead. Exactly. Jay gives you a conspiratorial wink and backs away slightly. Oh, exalted one, could today be my lucky day? No longer will I have to stand in this hall waiting day and night for my turn to come. For this kind lord of House von Valancius is a benefactor of the downtrodden and has solved my problem. I like having problems solved. I love that we have our like own little queued off section. Esteemed lord, take pity on this poor youth as well. I'll give you everything I have, I swear before the emperor. Only help me solve my problem. We do not need everything, poor wretch. Only your place in the queue. Emperor, grant me patience. No, listen to the young man. I'm not going to praise the emperor in any way. The young man in worn work overalls comforts himself with the unusual grace of a commoner. My lord, I've been in this queue for 24 moons already, trying to get a permission slip to wed my fiancée Zazie. Unfortunately, the servants of the Administratum refused to grant it without the signature of a highborn sponsor. Stop. Anger. Out of my way! Elbowing aside onlookers left and right, a richly dressed lady with a beauty mark augment above her lip charges towards you. Esteemed lord, my 8th offspring has lost his mind. He's decided to renounce his family, his noble title, and his talent as a healer, all for the sake of some tattered waif from the middle levels. A union with a commoner will put an end to his studies at the university, but should Dargonus and the Officio Medicae be deprived of a capable chirurgeon just because of a passing fancy? Says he's a healer too, and she helps the people of the hive great deal more than any lily white chirurgeon with a diploma. I don't want to live a life of idleness in the spires of Dargonus like you, not when I know there are thousands of unfortunate people at the lower levels who need my help. Now, let's remember, we are a noble. So upholding nobility is often the heretical option. I love how you can bribe, murder, and do heresy because you have a piece of paper that says so. It's a big piece of paper. It's like the size of a wall. You want to study alongside your beloved? Very well. I grant you ownership of the Dargonus University of Medicine. You may admit anyone you like. The lives of commoners hold no value. When you finish university, you will be qualified to save those who are truly worthy. This seems like the most chaotic option to me, you know? It really does. And I got a lot of profit factor. Like, we got profit factor to burn right now. Will we end this bureaucracy before the stream ends? I don't know. It is definitely, we had so many things planned for today, and I feel like I'm going to be stuck here forever. Just give him the university. Let's give him the university. The young man blinks in astonishment. What? Yes, of course. That's what I'll do. Thank you for your generosity, my lord. This is a miracle. What's the point of being the rogue trader if we can't do ridiculous stuff like this? Do heresy is a stretch? The Imperium in general has pretty strict views on what heresy is. I mean, everything is heresy if you look at it in the right lens. You have an interesting way of doing business. I'll keep that in mind. Jay's shrewd eyes are alight with interest as she watches the young petitioner leave. After allowing you a brief pause, a hunched ragamuffin approaches you. I love ragamuffin. It's such a good word. The old man's toothless mouth breathes out a putrefying cloud of air as he speaks 3 words. Death for life. You're here to request mortification so that your organs go to your granddaughter as inheritance. She'll hardly want your worn-out body parts, old-timer. Servitor disposal. Awareness test succeeded. Only now do you notice the tattoo on his right hand, the symbol of the Adeptus Administratum and several interlocking chains. It seems this old fellow is the property of a prefect of this palace. The granddaughter of this poor wretch was turned into a servitor 16 Dargonus years ago, and after a recent accident she was listed for disposal. This old man is volunteering to be spare parts for a soulless tin can. May the Exalted One keep me from such a fate. Buy your granddaughter's release and see to your welfare. No, I'm not doing that. You don't have to die, old man. If she's been taken out of service, the time has come to release her. I can give the order for your granddaughter to be prepared, but if you wish to be with her forever, you will also be subject to servitude in perpetuitas. How dare a prefect's property try to make use of his own life? Get away. Back to your master. That's the noble option, honestly. Cowering in fear under his shaking arm, the old man rushes out of the hall. Turning him into a servitor also would be fun, but it just feels betrayal to my noble bloodline. Infinity, hello, how we doing? Heresy's not a color, it's the entire rainbow. That's how the ruler of the world and the stars in the sky acts when he finds an unfortunate on the end of his magnificent orbit. A mature woman in a finely made but threadbare dress greets you. I heard you were helping those in need. Well, my family, it's devastated. My life's work, my shop selling rare hats is burnt to ashes. I'm living out my years as a widow, alone in a cold, deserted manor without servants, diversions, or delicacies befitting my status. The woman falls silent, her brow raised in expectation of your response. This seems made up. pay her 3 profit factor. I'm probably not going to do that. Suppose you must remarry. Have my people select the best spouse for you. Or perhaps I can rebuild this hat shop of yours. Let's just have her remarry. This doesn't cost me anything. I like the idea of building a hat shop, though. Like, what if I get hats out of this? The woman's beleaguered eyes sparkle to life. Well, that's a wonderful idea. Take my place in the queue, I insist. I will leave my details with your retinue and go. Honestly, I'm just doing that for the possibility that I get a hat. That's 100% the logic behind that choice. I'll do anything for a good hat. 3 hours pass. That was amusing. I paid off the last few onlookers who were willing to give up their place. It's a pity they weren't all so amenable. We've moved forward considerably in the queue, Shireen, but you aren't ready to stop there, are you? You could also ask Adira to use her talent. No, wait. On second thought, that could be more disastrous than a suddenly erupting volcano. I like the idea of Adira unleashing warp on, on the entire crowd. Use your tricks. I prefer to call my wisdom learned through many years' experiences, but I don't care about the precise wording just now. How do you wish to proceed? Address a tender-hearted man? I mean, I kind of want to know what this option is. Oh, this was the named guy in the crowd. May the Emperor illuminate your path, brother. I am Jay, and this is Biggest Turg. We've been in the queue so long, we're practically family. Won't you tell us what brought you to the Palace of Order? Yeah, Light of the Throne bless you. My name is Menace Dapir. I've been here a month already. I've tried everything I can to get to that window, and nothing's working. My poor Elena, she's my daughter, my flesh and blood. They detained her on Vabo 6, charged her. Can you believe it? The charges were false. That's how the Administratum operates. I've said too much. I apologize. It's my nerves. My nerves. I just keep thinking about her there on Vabos, shackled down in the mines. My poor Elena, as delicate as a flower she is. We're about to go to Vabos. She's got weak lungs, you understand. Always coughing, and now down in the mines, all that dust and muck. She won't cope with it. She won't. She was acquitted 2 years ago, but to get to the papers certified and the seal, so much time has passed. And now here I am, standing, waiting. Nah, it doesn't matter. At this rate, the queue's moving. It'll be 10 cycles or more before our numbers come up. I'm sorry about your daughter, but if you don't let me pass, tomorrow 50 Dargonian orphans will die. I want to learn a little bit about this guy. What was your daughter accused of? Falsely accused. She was slandered. They said she deliberately poisoned a whole room of highborn folk with cakes. Have you ever heard the like of it? Those nobles didn't even make us out at the privy. Panic, outrage, scandal. So what? It was their own fault. That's what. A crate of fine Calixian wine was found. And the smugglers were found too. And what did the smugglers do? They framed someone else. And my daughter was charged. Ah, of course. Blame the smugglers. I'm sorry about your daughter, but if you don't let me pass, I'm going to kill a bunch of orphans. His eyes go wide with despair drawn on his face. But how? What about Elena and the poor orphans? Oh, this is just awful. Of course you can go ahead of me. Please take my ticket. My Elena's a fragile girl, but she loves children. It's nothing quite like threatening a bunch of orphans. Didn't I tell you one little sob story and we're already one step closer to our goal? The hum of activity returns to the queue. Petitioners exchange glances, clutching their paperwork. You realize the number being called out by the server skull for the 3rd time is the one on my ticket. Oh, man. I didn't get to do warp shenanigans. Thank you for granting the rogue trader his sacred warrant and all of its privileges. If we had to wait a minute longer, heaven be my witness, I would have shot someone. It went faster than I expected. We had a little bit of a wait, of course, but it was fun. One last seal, one more certification, and you're looking at the official trade representative. What are you waiting for, Shireen? Let's go. We have another couple of hours with the certification officer to get through. More paperwork. All for sacrificing the orphans for the skull throne? It did seem like the right option, right? At least the orphans were good for something, if it's just being threat bait. Oh, that wasn't a threat. That's going to happen regardless. The officer leans over the document, his smoothly shaven head gleaming. His augmented ocular eyes whir as the lenses zoom in and out. With quiet scratching sounds, the cognitive quills that serve in place of the officer's fingers makes note on a fine sheet of paper. This document is hereby certified. Return to your Master of Seals in order to proceed, and may his light and wisdom guard you. Next. Oh my god, we're so close. Where are we going? Where are we going? Let's get this shenanigans done with. Master of Seals. The Temple of Law and Order greets you, biggest Turg von Valancius. You have returned with the paperwork? Wonderful. The Emperor blessed me with the patience greater than the apportioned of ordinary mortals. Allow me to verify the authenticity of your documents for the final time. Yep. Confirmed. Everything's in order. And this one, the seal is smudged slightly. Jay's smile evaporates, revealing her true emotions. Void scorpions scratch up my eyes. Now what? Adara stares at Jade in surprise and lets out a whistle. Well, that came out of nowhere. Just one strike, not in his name, not by his will, merely for myself. Would it be a grave trespass, I wonder? No, I must banish such thoughts. Even Cabela is like, let's forget the faith. Let's just murder all these people. Wilkinson, thank you for the follow, dude. Welcome to the agency. I suppose I could overlook it, given that the rest has been certified correctly and promptly. Congratulations, Jay Hadari. You are now the official holder of a Mercatum Tabula Officiale. Do not forget to repeat the certification process every 100 Terran years. Uphold the law of the Imperium proudly and honorably in the worlds of the Koronus Expanse. And one more thing. Loss of the certificate is a grievous transgression. Lose the original and you will be unable to regain your status as an official trade representative, not even with the Rogue Trader's endorsement. Yes, esteemed Damar, give me the certificate already, come on. Praise the exalted one who saw me through these trials, Shireen. This is something to tell the grandchildren about. How a humble mortal became a trade representative of the Imperium. Let's not bother the Damar any longer, Shireen. Why don't we discuss the next steps on the ship? Oh my god. Oh, get me out of this palace. I never want to come back here. Sweet god. Wait, there's loot! There's loot! I gotta get the loot. I bet it's just this paper, and I bet it's not even interesting loot. I bet it's just more bureaucracy. It's just more bureaucracy. 50 regiments of the Astra Militarum sent to the frozen world of Zenegar 2 required supplies of warm clothing, footwear, and snowshoes for a successful combat maneuver and with a further offensive against the enemies of humanity and the Emperor. Due to a gross error by low-ranking adept to the Administratum, instead of the aforementioned supplies, soldiers received 800 cryobanks, resulting in the death by freezing of the majority of troops before the commencement of the mission of retribution. For the purposes of improving efficiency, the adepts responsible were subjected to servitude in perpetuitis, as a result of which he's now discharging his duties flawlessly. His dotties flawlessly. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's get the hell out of here. There's always one more thing. I feel like the theme of this stream in general is like, okay, we're gonna go to Babo 6. But first, we gotta just do one more thing. First, we just gotta go to the voidship bridge and talk to Jay. Wrap up this quest. And then we can go to the prison planet. I wonder if we'll meet that guy's daughter on the prison planet. I feel like we probably will.
Shireen, light of my eyes,
Oh,
giver of boons and savior of the needy. From now on, two sons will grace the firmament of the Von Valancius Protectorate. One bright and powerful, like the rogue trader himself.
Like season 1 of Mandalorian.
Slightly more humble, like his unassuming partner, the diligent owner of the Mercatum Tabula Officiale, and all around delight, Jai Hidari. As I promised before, my crew will be your eyes and ears across the entire expanse, Shireen. Just give them time. And of course, the assistant to official trade representative Jai Hidari is already rushing to Dargonis to deliver goods of rare and exquisite quality to you and your people, O master of many worlds. And once again, thank you, Shireen, from the bottom of my humble heart.
And what is the extent of this gratitude?
I actually have something else for you, Shireen.
She shamelessly holds your gaze, ignoring the disapproving looks of the surrounding officers, and wait for your reply. I don't want to... I mean, we could kiss her, but Jay's not really who I've been romancing. Do not think to toy with me, Hidari. I demand recompense for my time and effort.
Shireen, You did not think I was trying to pay you off, did you? Accept
Not with a kiss.
this small gift for taking care of me.
A cape.
And may the Exalted One keep watching over the path that you tread.
It's a pretty good cape.
Oh.
That's a pretty good cape. What's our cape? Our cape has increased range of all our officer abilities. That cape. When the wearer ends their turn, they remove burning, bleeding, and toxin effects from themselves and all allies and gain temporary wounds. +2 plus toughness bonus. This coat grants the wearer 10% parry reduction and 5 armor pen for melee attacks. I think I'm going to give this to Abelard. It also matches his outfit, which is nice. And it'll give 3 temporary wounds. Potentially more as his toughness goes up. Most importantly is that it matches his sick drip, so... If you kiss her, she gives you a pet Lacerax for the bridge? Why didn't you say so?
Powers unseen uncover my path.
That's the quickest reload I've ever done in my life. Didn't even quick save. That was immediate, man. There's no question about that. A big doggy for the ship? I love those Laceraxes. Remember when we had one and we tried to get it to stay alive, but then it got killed by a bunch of other Laceraxes, I think?
As I promised before, I actually have something else for you, Shireen. Oh, the sweetness of your lips, Shireen. As you can see, I know how to be grateful.
Where is my kitty cat? She wants to receive a gift from the Lord Captain. Jay has proposed the Rogue Trader and her celebrated acquisition and her crew on Footfall, a social event in the company of Rogue Traders. I don't think it matters if I gave her a kiss. It'll turn up later. I got a feeling I was getting that last Rex no matter what. You've just tricked me into kissing Jay Hadari is what you've done. I see how it is. Their crew on Footfall. So we got to go back to Footfall. Jay wants a gift, but that's just because she got that kiss. All right, let's go do some quests. Let's go actually do some quests. Is it worth it? I don't know, man. You know, just because we kissed her doesn't mean we can't kiss everybody else. It's the true Slaneshi way. I'm assuming that quest takes place on Footfall, but we're not going back there immediately, so... let us... I want to make that one easier. Let me warp here first. And then I'll probably just make this easier. Why I'm insisting on doing that, I'm not entirely certain, but... These are side quests. I'd like to see if we could pull them off. Just in case. Because if I do this, I can get rid of Earlet. Spent a lot of points on making route safe. Normally, I just try to make like all the routes to all the routes between my like home planets. I'm trying to make all of them safe. An auger crew picks up a heavily damaged Xenos void ship among the countless rock masses of the asteroid belt, an Eldarii vessel beyond a doubt. According to the Bon Valency's archives, about 100 standard years ago, the Imperial Navy set up a barrier in this system against pirates and the enemies of humanity. Countless primed mines are still scattered amongst the wreckage. The Vox Master manages to tune the ship's systems to an unconventional frequency, and the bridge fills with a chime-like Xenos voice. Drawn out and mournful, they sing of an unknown tongue, but every officer on the bridge can sense this is a dirge. Answering the call, Yerlet jumps to the cogitators, startling the officer on the bridge with her sudden jolt. In the hopes of understanding the Monkey technology and figuring out how to help her kin, the Eldarii runs in circles around blinking vid screens, but the mysteries of the machine god elude the Xenos. She turns to the Lord Captain powerless. She is asking the Ellentalk to help her kin who have found themselves trapped in a snare of fate. The Eldarii are enervated and weak, and their song is a cry of despair, a cry that is fading. Logistics officers led by Ravener are ordered to plot a course for the rescue shuttle. Boop, 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 boop. I mean, we have this logic choice that we could pass with ease. Now all the crew can do is hope that the calculations are correct and the veteran officer's experience does not let them down. What is the state of the vessel? The Eldari's vessel hull and engines have presumably been damaged in a collision with a small celestial body. It's impossible to prove or disprove this hypothesis at such a distance. Can we establish communication? The Xenos do not respond to our incoming signals. After several attempts, the frequency tuned gets lost and the mournful song fades away. Send a shuttle with an experienced pilot and scouts in hopes that smaller vessels can bypass the ancient mines. Sorry, what did the logic check do for us? I don't mind keeping a bunch of mines. I mean, this place is literally full of dark elves, so... Shuttle enters the asteroid field. The pilot proceeds with caution, confidently avoiding the chunks and nearly imperceptible mines. When the shuttle reaches the Xeno ship, the rescue team report catches the bridge crew off guard. The vessel's starboard side has been breached by macro weapons of an unknown Imperial void ship. There are no survivors. Shielding her eyes, Yerlet closes them and clutches the stone spirit at her breast. Coming to, the Eldarii does not speak for a time. With notes of sadness in her voice, carefully picking her words, she concedes that the Ellentalk did all they could to save her kin, and yet it is the monkey who are responsible for the loss of the Eldarii void ship. Saddened by the pain and hatred humans have wrought upon her kind, she quietly leaves the bridge. Sometimes it's impossible to outrun fate. Nice, another Eldarii chainsword. That makes 3. Sometime after, Yerlet comes to the captain, haggard but still holding on to hope. She says she came aboard the Monkey vessel and set off into the darkness in the hopes of finding her kin, but found only corpses slaughtered by humanity's hatred. Though she and the Lord Captain were not always in agreement, the Ellentalk still tried to lend a helping hand. In gratitude, she shares the coordinates of her kin's cache. Find the Eldarii cache. Here's the thing. I've just been doing this to get the cache, and then I was gonna throw her out the airlock. You always gotta side quest me some more, don't you? All right, well, I'm feeling pretty confident in our void prowess recently. So let's see whether or not we can fight these guys. Small celestial body, your nickname in college?
This void ship will not be defeated.
The Drukhari have blocked some of your flagship posts. No. Now this is interesting. I'm meant to always act first in combat. We have an upgrade that does that. But it seems not to be the case here. Oh, man. Oh, my poor little pirate homie. What is blocked? New heading and torpedo control.
Torpedo.
I'm going to send out some interceptors. Are we slowed right now? I feel like we're slower than normal. Master of Maneuvers is damaged. I don't love this because I'm exposing my already weakened side. But I also don't really think I have a lot of a choice here, so...
Eviscerate them.
Where are we here? 1, 2, 3. That goes +3 range. I can't quite hit him. Let's just blow this guy up. I might as well restart my shields. They took such a beating there. I can't quite reach this guy. We do have our ultimates ready. So if things get out of control, we can put them to use. I think I'm going to turn him. And we'll reinforce my front shields. Little interceptors are just out of range. Ooh, not what I expected. But okay. Huh.
And then
Huh. I could do a swing run. I could hit him with a Promethean mortar if we boosted it. Or I could hit him with the Howler cannons. The Howler cannons would do a lot more damage.
let the Imperium guide us.
So I think let's go with them.
Unleash a storm of macro cannons.
I got 2 sets of interceptors going in and after as well, so... Larf. Blorf. Nice.
The Von Valancius dynasty knows
Achievement
no
unlocked. Destroy
defeat.
4 ships using attack crafts. Someone needs a third hand or lured from Zorro. How to hold swords with a chain and a butt. That's a growing collection of Eldar chain swords. I think what you're just saying is we need to become gene stealers. So we can get that third hand and surprise people. That's a pretty good shot. Alternatively, I could do new heading and probably hit him. But I feel like you're facing that way. Let's go. Let's go here.
Emblazon our path. Send them into the cold void.
I was like, that weapon is good enough to secure a kill, so...
Torpedoes, now.
Choo. I think... Let's just put the front shield up. Oh, you know what? We can warp wave him. Boom. Problem solved. We might as well put a weak spot on him. Our interceptors are just out of range. What's he gonna do? No, my little pirate homie. Ow. He's also gonna hit my side shields. Well, that's not ideal. But that should be fine.
Imperium guide us.
We'll hit him with one of these to start.
Annihilate them.
All in his weak spot. And then the obsidian promethium mortars. That'll start a couple of fires. Those torpedoes aren't going to hit nothing. Let's just boost those shields on the side. And unfortunately, I don't think any of these guys are going to be able to get in on time. Lots more other guys just appearing in the middle of this fight, but plenty of Slaanesh and Tzeentch followers with 3 arms. True. True. Or like a tail that doubles as an arm. This guy is on fire. I think he dies at the beginning of his next turn no matter what. Wow, they have so much movement. I like how he just like casually was like, well, what if I just go completely around your ship? Now, these plasma torpedoes got 2 rounds left. This guy's got to come up that way. So do I skip this guy or do I blow him up? I think let's skip him and try for him. Though, TBH.
Annihilate them.
We can shoot and then miss with those macro cannons.
Let destruction go forth.
Nice. Absolutely just nuked those ones. Ooh, if that's the case, let's do a swing run. So we're just going to go straight forward and turn around. And then... So I'm just going to go like one more square here, I think. I'm going to warp wave him. Just because I want to make sure he is blown up. We'll drop some more torps. And honestly, I would dare to say that we're good. Let's fix up our front shields just in case something goes wrong. These guys have 0 rounds of fuel left, so I'm kind of like, can they just come back inside? They can, actually. So we'll reload our strike craft. Wow, these guys have so much movement. My shields. Curse, curse, curse. Curse, curse, curse. Those are gonna hurt. They're right on top of me. This guy gets another round before me? Well, I gotta disagree with that one pretty strongly. They all get another full round before I get to go in this combat. That really seems quite unfair. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. Kaboom. We're going to use new heading. I don't think I can get anyone with this Titan Forge weapon. But I could kill you with that, and then I could hit that guy with the other cannons.
Unleash the storm of macro cannons.
Good grief. Are you for real?
Unleash our wrath upon my enemies.
Goddamn obsidian fields. We're going to use the Corpus chant to recharge our shields at the end of each turn. I'm going to power up my left-hand shields. There's not much else I can do here. Do the DLC give new character classes? Yes. Yeah, both of them do. Void Shadows gives a base class and a secondary class, and the Lex Imperialis just adds the Overseer class, which is like a second class. So glad to be rid of Heinrich soon. I can't wait to throw him out an airlock. Listen to me, when he's talking to you, we's just gonna go on this there ship, we's gonna smash it up, and we's gonna kill anything that gets in our way. And then we's just gonna get back on the boat, and we's just gonna go home. That'll show him. Do you lot of you me runts understand that? Good. Now with me. Wog! I love a good wog. There's nothing I love more than a good wog. We're gonna try to kill this guy. I don't think it'll work, but... Damn, that interceptor slapped. How about I get a turn now before he gets a turn, seeing as they cheated last time? Well, at least we boosted these shields. So we're not taking any damage there. Sweet Jesus, this guy is so fast. I don't even think I can hit him on a new heading. I think I've got a swing run. Go like this. Arc Augury. And then I can hit him with the Titan Forge lance.
Eviscerate them.
5 damage. Warp wave.
My premonitions never
Let's
fail me.
go. We can get rid of the Prometheum Mortar and take a medium range lance weapon. Oh, you better believe we're doing that. If you Isekai, Orc are the only choice. No demon possession and only happy races. Orcs got it going on, man. Orcs know what's up. There's no doubt about. Orcs are the true leaders of the universe. 3 shots dealing 14. So like 42 damage versus 52 to 60. Yeah, we're taking that faux show. I'm going to pay out a ton of scrap there for those upgrades. But that's okay. Everything else is boosted. I did get a bunch of levels here, so let's just quickly run through these. These are the last levels of our secondary archetypes. Overseer and its familiar gain 1 deflection. This one is just like the Overseer gets, or sorry, their familiar gets bonuses. We'll just take that. Our assassin gets a better version of dispatch. Whenever they hit an opening, they gain lethality. Temporary wounds, excuse me. We'll probably take that. Abelard. You gain fell bonus momentum for each time you are hit. All allies in a 3-cell radius suffer less damage until the end of combat. That would be useful for us. I'm all about the like until the end of combat abilities. Whenever familiar becomes a target of the enemy's attack, the Overseer has their damage increased. Stacks until the end of combat. Whenever the Overseer uses their archetype ability, the Overseer and their familiar gain 1 deflection until the end of combat. Yeah, let's take that. That'll turn Adira into a tank somehow. This can take prey, suffers penalty to armor. And Jay, you can take... Cannot die. The other 3 I'm not worried about. Curious if we're going to get some orc action in Dark Heresy? I would say, yeah. There's not really any orc in this, so it feels like they got to get him. They got to get him in here for Dark Heresy. No orc noises in this game. Spice Marine. Give me a boy as a companion so I can wog the Koronus Expanse. Oh, it would be so good. 7 flamers. 20 swords, 20 axes, and 7 las guns. That's quite a bit of loot. That's the last mechanism, bit by bit. Showing the way. Several ancient ships restoring the archeo... owing to his keen intellect, he managed to discover several ancient Imperial ships and restore the Archaeotech compass, pointing towards the Mu Rho 79 system. That's why we got 1 more quest. We'll never get to Vabo 6. More plasteel. I mean, all right, I'll take 1 of them, I guess. What am I doing with these extractums otherwise? The scouting team sent to the colony world returns with a decrepit, shaggy, foul-smelling vagrant in tow. The old man hastened towards the enforcers as soon as he saw the dynasty's color and implored him to take him to Master Voidgear or Lady Theodora. Question the vagrant. His interrogation, the old man says he's a loyal servant of House von Valancius. 4 decades ago, he was sent on an important mission to the system by Voidgear. It took him 20 years to complete the mission, and he spent the next 20 waiting for his masters to collect him. He was an ambitious young spy when he left the ship, and coming aboard again has made him very emotional. Check him for evidence of treason. No wrongdoings, the old man could be held accountable. His body bears no signs of worshipping the archenemy. Okay, so he's a traitor to us. He has confessed to no crime and seems quite shocked at the news of Lady Theodora's death and Voidgear's treachery. The harsh interrogation techniques have taken an almost fatal toll on his health, yet forced no admission of guilt. What was the nature of his mission? He agrees only to share the details with the rogue trader himself. If his claims are to be believed, he was sent to recover documentary evidence of House Winterscale's debt liabilities to House von Valancius. These priceless papers have been stolen and hired by agents of the cold trade on Winterscale's orders. However, instead of being destroyed, they were hidden away for blackmail. He describes a long journey full of perilous adventures that eventually brought him into possession of the documents, which he proudly presents to you. They turn out to be genuine. 3 profit factor. Lavish riches upon the faithful servant and bestow some unchallenging yet honorable duty upon him. Promote the loyal servant and assign him an important position, or terminate the agent just to be sure. I'm going to give him an important position. As far as I'm concerned, this guy did good. He got sent to a planet, 20 years, he took a job, 20 years, he waited around, he came back, profit factor 3. I don't think this is a heretical thing to do. I think I'd need good spies. So, there's no question about it. The beaming old man has joined the ship's enforcers in order to teach younger soldiers lessons in fortitude and unshakable loyalty. Heck yeah. Does perception affect your chance to hit? I think so. I believe it reduces dodge chance. Reduces enemies' dodge chance against a character's attack. Yeah, so it's less that you have a chance to hit and more that they have less a chance to dodge. It's a real Thaco type sort of situation here. And that was it. That was everything on this system. Can't believe they ever removed me boys from Space Marine 2 for some boring bugs. I know. I feel you. They did put in some chaos though. Where is Mu 79? Mu Rho 79. Spoils of Prudence, Eyes of the Magnetic Storm. I still also don't have whatever those quests are. And the Eldari Cache. Look, I don't think... I don't know that I can put this off anymore. We've been up here for so long. Your Lordship, I humbly ask that you grace me with an audience. I must inform you of a serious, outrageous breach of discipline that threatens to dissipate the dynasty's coffers. Sorry, I was trying to get something done, but, you know, Master Dan rocks, so. Give him a better job after you tortured him and called him a traitor? We didn't torture him that much. Only a little bit. Your Lordship, I must report systematic and flagrant attacks on the dynasty's coffers perpetrated by your companion, Mistress Haydari. The Emperor as my witness. The worst rumors of her thieving ways proved to be a significant understatement of the reality. How much does she cost us? On a protector-wide scale, the astronomical sum she's extorted from us seems negligible and not worthy of notice. Nevertheless, I cannot help but be outraged by her blatant exploitation of your goodwill. What crimes has she committed? She's extorting bribes and oblations, gifts, favors for herself in particular. She's exploiting rumors of a connection between herself and the Lordship to unscrupulously gather bribes from all and sundry, hinting at how displeased you will be if you hear anyone is being uncooperative. I found myself to be the position of the victim of her attacks with particular frequency. All right, bring her to me. If she's taking bribes, I want to cut. You wish to see me, Shireen. She bestows a dazzling smile upon you and a look of pure contempt on Danrock. I like Danrock, for the record. Danrock let us build a chaos altar in our bedroom. He knows what's going on. He's the only heretic on this ship with me as far as I'm concerned. So, Mike, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. Boo, 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 boo. I've been informed that you've been soliciting bribes. Bribes! What Ashmeg besearched their worm-eaten lips with such a scurrious lie? Don't tell me, I don't even want to hear their black-eyed name. You never demanded bribes from any of your vassals, but I've willingly accepted the gifts they've offered. Is that a crime? She's quibbling over semantics. She may not demand anything directly, but she drops very heavy hints. Perhaps this isn't about hints, but the habits of a rotten, venal soul accustomed to doling out bribes left and right, thereby draining the dynasty's treasury. I'd be curious to know, Danrock, how much of the Von Valencia's fortune have you squandered by handing out bribes to people who did not ask for them? The High Factorum is worried that you're exploiting your privileged position. He should try to worry less. It's not good for a slanderous little heart that pumps blood around his ungrateful carcass. But I'm surprised he was not worried before when he showered me with generous gifts the moment I arrived on board. Of course, I'll not accuse him of trying to buy my favor. The Factorum's face changes color to match his jacket, whose collar suddenly appears to be digging into his flabby throat. However, the source of these blessings dried up as soon as he learned of our connection, Shireen. I considered it profoundly wrong that our affection should have such an unhappy effect on my material well-being. Therefore, I took it upon myself to remind the High Factorum of his previous largesse. Danrock, you bumbling suitor! Why do you need such gifts? Do you not receive enough working with me? I'm a businesswoman, Shireen. I extract profit from everything. It's my nature. When a desert lion catches the scent of blood, he'll eat even if his belly is full, for who knows when the next feast will come. And besides, what girl doesn't like receiving gifts? Jay, I command you to stop writing roughshod over my Factorum and my treasury. These unjust reproaches are just like the hailstorm upon my soul. All right, Shireen. I'll not trouble your treasurer again. Although I find it very strange that you trust a man who hides his real smell under lashings of perfume. Everyone knows that a sure sign of the heart's proclivity for deception. Jay leaves, vindictively treading on the Factorum's foot as she goes, no doubt already plotting a new affront to Danrock's heirs. Listen, again, Danrock's my homie right now. Thank you, your lordship. Your servants will be pleased to know they have your protection against the invigilance of that grasping viper. Ooh, what's this? The drawing on the bulkhead of the ship looks relatively recent, and it certainly gave no order for it to be done. You do not recognize those whimsical symbols. With some efforts, you manage to make out the interweaving lines are intricately stylized letters. You think you've encountered them before. Is this a language from somewhere in the Calixis sector? Ravener, what is this? Mistress Haydari's shenanigans. She gave the order for this thing to be painted. God Emperor is my witness. I haven't got a clue what it is. Jay, what the hell is this? This is twice in literally 5 minutes you've gotten in trouble. I think it fits in wonderfully with the surroundings. You've not answered me. What is it? It's a phrase in a dialect from Efreet. It says, biggest Turk carries in his chest a heart that passion has woven with Jay's heart. May their affection burn blindingly for the glory of the exalted one. Ravener, wash this off immediately. Poems are like sparks of a fire carried by the wind. The memory of them withers as soon as the sound of their word dies away. I hope what we have lasts longer than any words drawn on a wall. Listen, all I wanted was a Lazarax. Okay? That's the only reason I kissed you, is because chat told me I'd get a Lazarax out of it. My Mrs. Doubtfire's on point today? Man, that's twice I'm getting Mrs. Doubtfired. I'm getting called out. No Pat Lazarax this playthrough? Are you telling me I won't get it now? Are you telling me I kissed her for nothing? A shark with lasers? Lord Captain, we've cross-referenced the key characteristics of the system with our astronautical chart data. This planet, Vabos 6, is located here. The problem is, the augurs detect an unusual change in the atmosphere, not unlike a massive release of toxins. It appears something unfortunate has happened to the planet's underground storage facilities. It's impossible to land safely on the planet. Unknown ships are cruising the system. No need for any cog to analyze it. They're Xenos. Well, we'll just have to blow them all up. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Chest. Booty. I do feel like we probably have some stuff to turn into the old Imperial Navy, but what's the rush? Nothing. We are looking for more burning worlds. Savannah world. This planet can barely sustain life, and yet searchers discovered a long-lost Imperial colony, one that was cut off from the rest of the galaxy centuries ago. The colonists live in conditions worse than any underhive, yet they still venerate the Emperor and gladly welcome their visitors. The Lord Captain receives an invitation from the local ruler, the Archqueen Princeps Domina. Great title. Take over the colony. 1 shuttle and 2 rifles should be enough. No, let's pay them an official visit. The ruler meets the Lord Captain in a shack considered to be a palace. The Archqueen's unusual crown is made of metal coils, most likely parts of an ancient device for boiling water. The guests are served the finest delicacies the colony can provide. The Archqueen praises the visitors in mangled low Gothic and calls the Lord Captain her dear brother. At the end of the audience, gifts are presented to the guests. The Archqueen's minister's delicate remarks that the best possible gift the Lord Captain and his crew could provide would be the replenishment of the colony's meager gene pool. So this is just a planet of inbred... inbred morons, basically. Do we get an event where we can offer to gift her a ship or a colony already? Not yet. No. Order to canvass the lower decks for volunteers. The most ruggedly handsome. Send the most ruggedly handsome volunteers to the Archqueen's court. A prank involving scout named Vesti is among them. Who is Vesti? I do love sending a bunch of pranks. You know, he's the one that pranks you on the Space Hulk mission. Yes, okay, that's what I thought. Right, when there's like the 3 commanders, we went to the bridge and he was like pretending to die in another section. Check the Factorum later. You have the dialogue option for the colony. Okay, I will do. Let's send a prank-loving scout named Bestie among them. Why not? He can get death by Snoo Snoo. Archqueen is delighted and flattered. She hopes the captain will pay her more visits in the future. That's it. Very good, sir. Very good. I wonder if it will become a very nice planet now, or if it's just going to become like the prank world. I feel like it's definitely going to come back to bite me in the ass later. Very good indeed, yes. Quite.
Let chaos paint the stars red.
Let chaos paint the stars red. A capital idea. Last hatred frigates. I see. I could just tap you with the Titan Forge, but it's not gonna hit very well. This is gonna suck. So this is cool. I didn't realize this. All these different abilities charge separately.
Send them into the cold void.
Yeah, these guys are hard to hit. The shadow fields. All right, there's only one reasonable thing I can do here. And believe me, it is not reasonable. Oh, I'm not in range of the Howler Cannon? That sucks.
Eviscerate them. Let destruction pour forth.
We got that new lance weapon, which is pretty nice, but... Whew. Good grief. Dee 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 dee. I could hit him with a boarding party, but it kind of feels like it's a waste in this fight. That said, I'm gonna get blasted. I just don't know it's gonna do enough damage, right? I don't actually think it will. This guy does nothing. Well, our side shields take a ton. Our other shields are going to take a ton, and we're going to eat some of that for sure. Eat a lot more of that than I'd like. Let's do a new heading.
Emblazon our path.
Finish him off with the Howler cannons.
No emergency beacon detected. No survivors detected.
And then we can hit. Oh, come on. I can't hit him with that cannon? No way. No way. Boo.
Steer us to our target.
What if I spun him? Oh my god, if I had gone back, that would have worked.
Send them into the cold void.
I can hit him with that cannon. Turns out that's good enough.
I reign supreme again.
We're absolutely slaying void combat. Swift and merciless retribution, a proper fate for many transgressors, but the Imperium permits use of convicts for hard labor on distant prison worlds, like Vabos 6. To atone for the crimes before humankind, hundreds of thousands of rogues and lowlifes toil in the mines of the Bon Valencia's protectorate until death from exhaustion or some other unfortunate accident claims their forsaken soul. I think we can finally land on Vabos 6 and finish up the last of our protectorate things. But let's do it in the next video. So YouTube, we hope you come back and join us. Until then.